This is a comet that came through in 1347, exactly 666 years to the day in a few months. I'm just going to read this. This is a history textbook, and it chronicles the history of air, weather, seasons, and meteors in sundry places and different times in the last 250 years. It is by Thomas Short, and I'll put a link in the description. You are not going to believe what you are going to hear right now.
So then we realized that these comets were either bringing death or we were told they were bringing death. So here's another 2013 video we did talking about how the plague or the Black Death was brought about by comets. Let's keep watching here.
Here we go. We are now come to the third general plague after our Savior, which certainly was the greatest, most universal and mortal, Noah's flood excepted, that ever ravaged this globe. It has never had a parallel before nor since, and we may observe that we have more particular history of it than of any that preceded it. For as it gifted every inhabited corner of the earth, of every nation or people that understood letters, kept records of it, as it was the most universal and mortal, it was most remarkable for the previous warnings given of its coming, for it surprised not an unwarned world. Mankind had sufficient notices of its approach from all the elements, as well as from the specialty of its rife. It was observable that though it was general, yet neither emperor, king, prince, lord, governor, nor any prime magistrate of any nation died of it, but as clergy, deemed to be principal procurers of it by their licentiousness. They and the herd of the vulgar, deluded and drawn into practical atheism by their example, were the greatest sufferers. This scourge was foretold in the year 1316 or 17 by Robert Fryer, that God would avenge the simony, sloth, luxury, lust, and covetousness of the clergy shortly. And it as remarkably came to pass, for the preaching brethren in Avignon died 358, in Montpellier out of 140 only 7 remained, and in Magdalene 7 also went, and 140. Go on to the next page. Of 150 minorities, only 1 was left. Of the Carmelites in Avignon died 46 before people knew what was the matter. Of the English hermites, not 1 survived. Of this plague died 12,444,334 barefooted monks. And of the Carthusian monks died, and of all left of the clergy in proportion. A conjunction and an eclipse happened in 1345. Judicial astrologers pretending to foretell some mighty and fatal events to follow. But it's easy predicting what we know is already begun, as this plague was 4 years before. Not but that each country had its own shocking premonitors, as in Ireland in 42, October the 11th at Dublin, where were seen 2 moons at once. In England, the year that it came hither, September the 28th, 1347, it rained from Christmas till midsummer, without one fair day, great floods. In France, besides the rains, and in Algolf was seen the terrible comet called Negra. And December appeared over Avignon for the space of an hour, pillar of fire, the sun being up. There were many and great earthquakes, tempests, thunders, and lightnings.
Did you catch that? In France, beside the rains, we're seeing a terrible comet called Negra. In December, there was a pillar of fire. So there's your fire and ice. This was back in 2013, you guys. That's 11 years ago. We did this video.
Several towns, villages, mountains, and thousands of people were swallowed up. The courses of the rivers were stopped. Some chasms in the earth that sent forth blood as it Villac. Terrible showers of hail, each stone weighing from 1 pound to 8. Abortions in all countries. In Germany it rained blood. France, blood engulfed out the graves of the dead and rained in the rivers. Comets, meteors, fire beams, bifurcations in the air, Mach funds.
More fire and ice. comets and fire beams. This is a historical record of a close approach of a comet.
The heavens on fire. In Lamech and Upper Aphia rained blood 3 days together, but a particular detail, the general and particular premonitors of this judgment, and the particular sufferings of the clergy by it were too great a subject for one whole volume. Soon after the raining of blood at Lamech, it began at Cadia, in the neighborhoods near the Great Sea, but whether it arose in India, Scythia, Tartary, or Arabia, it went sweeping along through the Indians, Sarkans, Turks, Syrians, Palestinians, and so on and so forth, in every land of the archipelago. Then it came to Greece, overrun Europe. So are you guys getting the picture? We will stop there, but this is a historical document that outlines the coming of a comet in 1347, exactly 666 years ago, on September 28th, 1347. But it seems that we have inadvertently